By the summer of 1940, the German public fully accepted the image of an infallible genius. Propaganda sold the story of a leader who worked day and night, an omnipotent mastermind whose office lights supposedly never turned off. Hitler was actually a dilettante who avoided the daily labor of governance. He lacked the stamina for long-term intellectual effort and rarely read a briefing file longer than 20 pages, preferring to retreat to his mountain refuge to hover above the difficult realities of administration. The Nazi Empire was built by a collaborative syndicate. Over 15 years, Hitler recruited a network of fiercely competitive extremists, ambitious men who spent their careers fighting one another to earn the dictator's favor. The mechanics of the Third Reich were operated by these specific collaborators. They took Hitler's vague, hateful visions and engineered them into a functional, state-sponsored reality. In the early 1920s, the Nazi Party was a disjointed fringe group in Munich. Germany was a defeated nation, broke and teetering on the edge of civil war, providing a chaotic vacuum for a new movement. To gain legitimacy, they needed a hero. They recruited Hermann Goering, a decorated fighter pilot from the Great War with deep ties to the Swedish nobility. Goering gave the obscure party much-needed prestige and access to a wealthy social network of aristocratic donors. Joseph Goebbels, a failed writer, provided the voice. He weaponized his own deep-seated insecurities to manufacture the Führer's public image, transforming a simple army employee into the messiah-like figure the public eventually worshipped. Finally, Heinrich Himmler provided the discipline. A meticulous former agricultural engineer, he took a small group of party bodyguards and built them into the SS, a fanatical, racially pure vanguard that operated as a black order loyal only to the regime. By acquiring these three specific profiles, the hero, the propagandist, and the fanatic, the party transformed from a brewery room movement into a highly structured political weapon. Hitler's management style was built on intentional chaos. He handed out overlapping duties, forcing his lieutenants to fight for his approval. This internal competition meant the only way to succeed was to push the regime's goals to further extremes than your rivals. Goering consolidated state terror by creating the Gestapo and opening the first concentration camp at Dachau. He used this new political police to sweep away the regime's opponents with an iron broom, earning himself a riot of military titles and decorations. At the same time, Goebbels enforced cultural conformity. He orchestrated public book burnings to purge Germany of dissenting voices, ensuring that every home was occupied by a cheap, state-issued radio broadcasting Nazi propaganda. In the 1930s, Albert Speer joined the inner circle. He was a young architect who provided the monumental scale necessary for Hitler's megalomania, quickly becoming the dictator's favorite by realizing his dreams of pharaonic architecture. Speer designed the massive environments for the party's rallies. These structures were propaganda set pieces, built to project invincible power and make the individual spectator feel insignificant before the state. Pitting these men against each other created a cycle of radicalization. As they competed to fulfill Hitler's visions, they transformed the entire nation into a machinery of total control. When the war began, Speer's role expanded to Minister of Armaments. Hitler demanded impossible miracles in military production, and Speer responded by doubling production rates, even as the country fell under heavy Allied bombardment. The secret to this production was slave labor. Advanced weapons like the V-2 rocket were assembled in sprawling underground factories like Mittelbau-Dora, where thousands of concentration camp inmates were worked to death in total darkness. While Speer managed the factories, Himmler radicalized the SS to industrialize the Holocaust. He sought to protect the psychological health of his killers by moving away from mass shootings and toward the detached efficiency of the gas chambers. Auschwitz became the logistical hub for this terrifying policy. Under Commander Rudolf Höss and Dr. Josef Mengele, the camp functioned as a factory for death, processing over 1 million victims with cold, bureaucratic precision. The industrialization of the Holocaust was a logistical achievement. These crimes were professional milestones, executed by ambitious officials who treated mass murder as a metric for advancement and a way to prove their loyalty to the boss. By 1945, the myth of Nazi invincibility was gone. As Soviet and Allied forces encircled Berlin, the supposedly unified inner circle began to dissolve into a scramble for self-preservation. Hermann Göring committed the ultimate betrayal. He sent a confidential telegram to the bunker in Berlin, attempting to usurp power from Hitler before fleeing south to save his own life. Heinrich Himmler also played a double game. He secretly entered negotiations with the Allies to surrender, delusionally believing that he could retain a position of strength in a post-war Germany. Joseph Goebbels remained in the bunker, orchestrating a final gruesome myth. He stayed to murder his 6 children and commit suicide alongside Hitler, ensuring that his own death was as staged and dramatic as the propaganda he spent his life creating. When the prospect of expansion vanished, the bond between these men instantly shattered. The inner circle was not a brotherhood of loyalty, but a temporary alliance of opportunists. The empire ended in total ruin. Allied forces captured the surviving lieutenants among the debris of a collapsed state, finally bringing Hitler's accomplices to account. At the Nuremberg trials, the surviving inner circle faced the filmed evidence of their atrocities. They were charged with a new category of offense, crimes against humanity, and forced to answer for the logistical systems they had built. Göring escaped the noose by committing suicide in his cell with a hidden poison capsule. Albert Speer, however, masterfully lied to the court, presenting himself as an apolitical technician who knew nothing of the Holocaust, a performance that saved his life and earned him only 20 years in prison. The Third Reich was a collaborative machine. It was built by ordinary, flawed, and ambitious men who chose to weaponize tyranny for their own gain, proving that a dictator is only as powerful as the syndicate that operationalizes his vision.